let's welcome our filmmakers, Elle Schneider and Johnny Derango.
Where are you going to sit, Mitch? Where are you going to sit?
I'll be on the end. You good on the end, too?
I guess so.
So you all have heard me speak way too much already. So I want to ask you guys, let's just start with your impressions of the camera. How do you approach this camera in really how you like to make your movies? So what does it do for you to make your movies? You can
Sure.
do one first.
I always like to bite off a little more than I can chew. I really like genre films. Genre films tend to be a little bit bigger in scope, and so I don't always have the big in scope budget. So having a camera that I can use, when I'm stealing shots in a park and still have it come out and be extremely beautiful and be as beautiful as the shots where I have a giant crew really reassures me that this camera I can get the bang from the buck. That's not it. I'm sleep deprived. It's okay. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
And for me, I wanted to approach it like I'd approach any other project, any other feature. I really wanted to put it through the ringer as if I were on an actual feature film set, and I wanted to see if it would hold up as if any feature film camera that I use would. And I mean, you guys saw the film. I put it through the paces, and I think it does hold up. And like I said, now it's just my opinion, but it's very reminiscent to me of a mini VariCam.
Fair enough. So when you're shooting with a camera like this, and you're shooting, you're just shooting your projects the way you're shooting your projects, we came to you and said, we'd like you to just do something. It was up to you what you wanted to make. How did you decide to do these projects in shooting, these particular scripts, these particular stories, and the way that you wanted to visually tell them? Why these for showing the use of the EVA1?
So for me, this particular script, Radio 88, which is written by John Salcedo and Kim Noonan, who directed the project. These guys out here, right here. It's a fantastic feature film script, and it's something that I always wanted to be a part of, and it's something that I'm producing on a feature level. And so I said to these guys, hey, let's take this opportunity to shoot a little piece of this and show people what it looks like. And that's sort of the genesis of the project. I was like, this is a great script. Can you guys cut it down to 10 minutes and let's go do this thing? And I think they did a great job at taking a feature film and finding 10 minutes of it that worked as a standalone. And that's how this came into be.
Well, I love genre films, as I just mentioned. And so when you guys came to me and said, what do you want to do? I said, well, can it be the hardest thing possible, like with caves that you have to hike like a mile up in 95-degree weather? And can we go in the desert where there's no electricity and have a fire, but also have a drone over the fire? But the thing for me is there's a lot of cameras that I know that I can shoot for people sitting in someone's living room in Silver Lake with and make it look great. And that's not really what I'm looking for in a camera. I'm looking for something that I can take out and shoot a scene that's shot in natural firelight with only a tiny little bit of hair light behind the actors and still have it look great, because that's the environment that I want to shoot in. I want to give myself creative freedom and not feel limited by the camera that I'm using and have to sort of hobble my vision to whatever the camera can give me. And so I really wanted to push this for my own recognizance and see what it could do and what it couldn't do, and I was really pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. And on that note, we don't want to sit there and blabber about specs, but what was, say, particularly a given feature that you've discovered, in using the camera that, helped you in the way you were making your films?
So for me, it's the same thing as with the VariCam. I've had other instances recently where I've been shooting something and I've been really happy with the camera, interior or daylight, and then I get into a situation where I have to shoot outside. And like I said in the video, it's a smaller budget. I don't have a condor. I can't light up 3 blocks. I've got to figure out what to do. And a lot of other cameras in that instance would fail. The dual native ISO, like I said, being able to throw to 2500 and shoot something under existing street lights with just a few park hands here and there to punch up the background makes all the difference in the world. So for me, that's sort of, and still is, sort of the biggest selling point for me is what this camera can do in the dark.
Well, for me, that was a huge factor as well, the dual native ISO, because I knew that we wanted to do these night-night scenes, and we were also doing these extremely bright daylight scenes. So being able to have that range was really useful. For me also, I really like to operate. Now, for most of this shoot, I did not operate because we had a Ronin and we had drones and we were always running around. But on the pickup day, it really was just me and a camera and the two actors. And knowing that, you know, this is only a 2.5 pound camera, you know, and then a lens on it, made it so much easier for me to hike around with and go crazy and, you know, crouch down in the bushes to get some tall grass. And that really, again, it's about sort of enabling creative freedom, and knowing that this is a lighter camera made it so much easier for me to just take it out on my own. And then with that, also the focus squares, I found in the bright daylight, it was very easy to use those, and much easier than using a normal focus peaking system, because it was so bright outside that with those I could really see what I was and was not focusing on. So that was a good perk.
And I'll point out that both of your films were, shall we say, modest productions. We didn't give you much time and not a budget, but it was also that we you know, this was all shot only a few weeks ago, guys. It was all, you know, we had to, as soon as we could get a camera to them, you know, that's really how it happened. And so the schedule was very tight. But I don't think you used more than 3 or 4 lights at any given scene. I mean, maybe in the radio station there were 5 or 6.
I mean, in the radio station, there's lots of little hits here and there. But as far as key lights and stuff go, it was pretty easy.
And then Elle, I think you only had 2 LED lights that were for a little edge light as a campfire.
We used, I think, 1 at a time, and we just had a hair light on the fire to separate the actresses out from the background, but that was the only actual light we used on the entire shoot.
Right, and just, you know, to point out the range that the camera could see, there was a shot when you're just getting to the campfire scene, which is a wide shot, and the actresses are in the corner with the campfire, and the male actor starts walking in on the other side of the frame, and in the background is the constellation Orion, and you can actually make out the stars of the constellation Orion, so you can really see the range that can be seen. That was all, you know, that's as natural light as could be at that point. Rather than me go on with thoughts and questions, how about we get a few questions from the audience? So we have some microphones that are coming around, and let's try the gentleman right here.
This is a question for Radio 88. Okay. I actually was able to read the script a little while ago, and I'm just absolutely thrilled to see it on screen. And one of the things, I mean, first of all, it's incredible, but one of the things that really popped out at me was how colorful it was. Like, I couldn't believe how colorful it was. And can you talk a little bit more about how you introduced so much color into a little radio station?
That's funny. A lot of that is the camera. We also had a really great practical location and an amazing production designer who I just saw walk by, Carrie Parker, who did a terrific job. But a lot of that was done in finding the right locations and just seeing what the camera itself brings out. And like I said, I'm super happy with the colors on the camera. For me, it rivals the VariCam. It does. It has this great tonality to it that I just really appreciate, and I don't know that I would have got that look at any other camera.
What you saw with your eye, is that what you delivered to us here on the camera, or did you oversaturate the images a little bit, you know, pull up those colors?
So with ours, what we did was we just viewed on the monitor as a Rec 709 LUT. So it was a very basic LUT, just to give me a ballpark idea where we were, recorded everything to log, and then in the color grade, we pretty much applied what we saw on set to that, maybe a few, you know, final touches here and there, but it was pretty darn close to what we shot on set.
Yeah, we had a very similar process. We shot in log, and then we're just toggling between log and 709 for monitoring.
Quick question is for Elle. I'm just curious, what was your pickup shots? What were the ones that you kind of snagged?
So our first day of shooting, we shot all the stuff in the cave and the guys walking around, and then we had a huge company move and then went and shot our fire stuff. And we were really focusing so much on getting the cave stuff that we didn't really get any of the walking around stuff that I wanted. So my 2 actors and I went and picked up the following weekend, and we shot everything of them walking through the grass, them sitting under the tree, the shots of the sky, the shots from them very far away. Basically, the whole section from the minute they leave the cave to the minute they're in the desert, and then Darren croaks.
Wow. Well, cool.
So, and I was really, really impressed with how it came out, because again, this is only, the second time that I'm using the camera. The first time I had a huge crew with me, but my actors and I really wanted to go back and get that additional stuff, and I could not be more pleased with how it came out. It was so simple. I kind of just was paranoid the entire time that I must be doing something horribly wrong, because it was just way too simple. But I think the footage came out fantastically.
Yeah, it was just you and the camera and the actors?
Literally just me. I had my little receiver hooked onto my belt. Didn't even have a tripod in case, someone came by and wanted to kick us out of there. We wanted, true run and gun. We needed to hightail it out of there real quick. I just used my camera backpack as the tripod, and we had 2 lenses, and that was it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool, thank you.
Okay, we can take a couple more questions. Yes.
Did you find that certain performances made the camera better?
I definitely found a few of the actors were difficult to deal with.
Well, hell's bells.
It's strange when an actor demands a hairless cat. Never seen that before, but no, I think the cast was pretty good. Actually, I'd love for the cast and crew who's here tonight to stand up. I want to thank you guys. You guys were amazing. Neil,
Both films.
Neil, the other producer,
you're
actors, John and Kim, who directed. Thank you guys so much.
And then we're going to switch. So I would love my Near to Superstition folks to stand up, because I know that you guys are kind of scattered around. And production on both of these films was only 3 days long. So everyone who worked on all of these projects worked tirelessly and really put in great work so that we could all be here tonight. So thank you guys so much.
You got 3 days.
So did you.